Hi everyone, I want to talk for a brief moment about geocaching safely. I'm on my way out now to find a cache, and I just thought that there's some things that you really need to think about before you go out geocaching. It's a great hobby, it's a great family hobby to pick up some interdisciplinary experiences, interacting with nature, community, history, all sorts of great stuff. But I can honestly say from experience, we've probably, in my earlier years, we put ourselves into some situations that probably weren't the greatest. We got caught in the elements, or maybe we were looking for a cache that was in an unsafe location. And I want to talk about that so you don't make those same mistakes. So number one is to think safety. Be thinking about dressing appropriately. Don't be geocaching in flip-flops and shorts, right? You're going to get caught in the bushes, snagged, your skin will be cut, things like that. Be thinking about the weather, too. If it rains, are you prepared? Do you have dry clothing or a poncho? Have a first aid kit. If you get cut by some thorns on your hands, do you have band-aids? Flashlight. Now, I don't ever want you to geocache at night. You better not be doing that, okay? But there will be times where you're in a cave and you need to be able to see a little bit clearer. So having a flashlight's a good idea. And a charged cell phone. All right, so sometimes, if I geocache with my phone, my battery wears down fast. So I really need to be thinking about, have I charged it 100%? Right? Have I stopped all the apps from running that I really don't need? Right? Maintain that charge just in case something happens. But besides supplies, be thinking too about, don't geocache in locations that don't seem right. For example, I don't geocache on private property, and there are caches occasionally on private property. They're usually marked, so you know. I don't geocache where you have to go bushwhacking through a forest to get to the cache, like through an unmarked trail. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put my children in that. And really, too, I don't think it's right to desensitize other people from looking at suspicious behavior. It's not good for law enforcement or your community, really. I guess if I were living over near there and I saw someone pushing their way through some trees looking for a mysterious box, my mind is wandering about what are they really doing, and I would want to call the cops. But if I know that they're geocaching, I don't know if it's a great thing to say, oh, they're just geocachers, just let it go. It really lets your guard down to looking for people doing bad things. So just don't geocache in places that aren't public, and you want to make sure that they're not off some weird beaten path, right? It's a great hobby, but I can see why it could be misconstrued. So yet I don't want you to let your guard down, right? So just geocache in public property, like on campus. We have lots of geocaches. Most parks in the town you live in have at least one geocache, so there are plenty of places to go that are fine. So also be thinking about not broadcasting that you're going geocaching, especially if it's just like you and your roommate. Don't be broadcasting that you're geocaching out in some remote location. That's not really a great idea for safety reasons. It's kind of like using, I love Foursquare, but when I'm traveling alone, I'm not broadcasting my location all over social media, right? So you don't need to be doing that either when you're geocaching. It's okay to talk about it afterwards, but not before. You don't need to set yourself up for any kind of danger. So those are just some really basic safety precautions to think about when you're geocaching. So thinking safety, don't go into caches that seem unsafe. Don't travel on private property or bushwhack through very unmarked territories. Go in safe locations that are public. And lastly, don't be telling people all over social media that you are going out in a small group looking for a mysterious box out in the middle of nowhere. Can you see how that sets yourself up for danger, right? And lastly, don't let your guard down with regards to safety and geocaching. It's a fantastic hobby. It really is a ton of fun. I just found a cache this morning, really close to where I'm at right now, and it was a blast, and nobody saw me do it, and it was fun. I saw a part of campus that I hadn't seen yet. So get out there and geocache, but just be thinking safe.